Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Simone Weil. It's an interesting quote because most people think attention is something they receive. Very few realize that attention is actually something they give. And the people who seem to attract attention effortlessly often understand this better than anyone else. For years, I assumed attention worked like a competition. The most talented person would get it. The most confident person would get it. The most impressive person would get it. That sounds reasonable until you start observing people closely. You meet individuals who are extraordinarily accomplished, yet somehow fade into the background. Then you meet someone who appears completely ordinary, and within minutes, everyone in the room is listening. The difference usually has very little to do with status, appearance, or intelligence. It has far more to do with how they make other people feel. Because attention is not something you can force, it's something people choose to give. And in this video, I'm going to share 5 ideas that can help you naturally capture people's attention without becoming louder, more dramatic, or trying to impress anyone. 1. Stop trying to be interesting. One of the strangest things I've noticed about conversations is that most people enter them with the same hidden goal. They want to be perceived as interesting. So they search for the perfect story, the perfect joke, the perfect response. While the other person is talking, they're already preparing what they want to say next. The problem is that when 2 people are trying to impress each other, neither one is truly paying attention. A conversation becomes a performance, and performances are exhausting. Some of the most memorable people I've met had a completely different approach. They were curious, genuinely curious. They asked questions they actually wanted answers to. When someone spoke, they listened closely enough to notice details most people would miss. As a result, people enjoyed talking to them. And something interesting happened. The attention they weren't chasing started coming toward them naturally. 2. Learn to be comfortable with silence. Most people treat silence as a problem. The moment a pause appears, they rush to fill it, almost as if a few seconds of quiet might make them look awkward. But if you watch confident communicators, you'll notice something different. They don't seem afraid of silence. They allow a thought to settle before speaking. They don't rush to prove they have something to say. And because of that, people often pay closer attention when they finally do speak. A pause creates anticipation. It gives weight to words. It signals that someone is thinking rather than reacting. The irony is that many people talk constantly because they want attention. Yet their words become easier to ignore. The people who speak thoughtfully often say less, but when they speak, others listen. 3. Give people your full presence. We live in a world where attention is constantly divided. Conversations compete with phones, notifications, messages, endless distractions. As a result, genuine presence has become surprisingly uncommon. Think about the last time someone gave you their complete attention. Not half of it. Not occasional eye contact while scrolling through something else. Complete attention. For a few moments, it probably felt unusual, maybe even refreshing. That's because being fully present communicates something powerful. It tells the other person they matter, and people remember how you make them feel. The individuals who attract attention naturally are often the same individuals who know how to give it completely. They aren't scanning the room looking for someone more important to talk to. They're engaged with the moment they're already in, and that creates a kind of connection that people rarely forget. 4. Speak with intention. Many people assume attention comes from speaking more. In reality, attention often comes from speaking with greater intention. There is a noticeable difference between someone who talks because they're uncomfortable with silence and someone who speaks because they have something worth saying. One feels restless, the other feels grounded. You don't need a dramatic voice. You don't need perfect words. You don't need extraordinary charisma. People are surprisingly good at sensing whether someone is speaking to express a thought or simply to fill space. When your words have purpose, they carry more weight, and weight naturally attracts attention. 5. Focus on the other person, not yourself. This might be the most important idea of all. Most social anxiety comes from excessive self-focus. How do I look? How do I sound? What do they think about me? Am I saying the right thing? When your attention becomes trapped inside your own head, it becomes difficult to connect with anyone else. But something changes when you shift your focus outward. Instead of monitoring yourself, you begin observing. You notice expressions, energy, emotions. You become interested in the person in front of you rather than the image you're trying to project. And strangely enough, that is often when people become most attractive, most engaging, and most memorable. Not because they perfected a technique, because they stopped thinking about themselves. Conclusion. The people who naturally attract attention rarely seem obsessed with getting it. They aren't constantly trying to appear important. They aren't performing. They aren't searching for ways to stand out. Instead, they pay attention. They stay present. They listen. They speak thoughtfully, and they make other people feel valued. Perhaps that's why attention remains so elusive for those who chase it. The harder you try to force people to notice you, the more your focus turns inward. And the moment your focus turns inward, you stop seeing the people around you. Maybe the secret was never learning how to be noticed. Maybe it was learning how to notice others. Because sometimes, the people who receive the most attention are simply the people who know how to give it.